The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that, you know.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
If you've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population, this place absolutely outshines it.
It's Tuesday, the 2nd day of June, 2026. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamel Hartman. How's everyone feeling today? Happy? I'm out of breath, right? Because had a little technical difficulties just now. And, social media team put this clip up yesterday and I hadn't put my chapstick on. So I had to go rush just now while the intro was playing, get my chapstick and, brush a little something on so that I don't get caught dry or slipping or whatever you want to say next time. But I'm serious. I'm not joking. I really went to rush and get it. But hopefully everyone's feeling good today. James Burgess says, good morning to the Daily Hour team show. I'm watching and listening. Welcome back. Thank you. We appreciate you. We've got Claire Warner says, good morning, Jamel. You in Bermuda have a great day. You as well, Claire Warner, and a great morning to you. Miss Ellen Kate Horton says, good morning, everyone. Great morning to everyone. Thank you all for rocking with us, folks. Greetings to you all, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome former educator Shawnette Somner. She's been in the audience. She's a part of the TDH community now. She's coming on the show. We're going to be discussing the realities of retirement in Bermuda. I am really looking forward to this conversation. Folks, I always said I wanted to be retired by 40. Little did I know the economy would say, yeah, right, and laugh at me. But retirement's it's an interesting topic for me, My mother never got to reach retirement age. My business partner's father worked so hard and, had dreams of enjoying, the fruits of his labor in retirement and never got to experience it. So, and then you hear stories about people. Someone just told me yesterday their aunt earns their own home, no children and just still working, not because she wants to, but because she has to. I've heard stories of retirees who only get like between $1,000 and $2,000 in pension and whatnot. That is not something to survive on in Bermuda. So really looking forward to this conversation with Shawnette Somner. The daily play is going to be keys from the past. Folks, no one got it yesterday. So keys from the past, I'll be giving you the clue again in partnership with Curb. So you don't want to miss that. Also, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, good morning, Jamel. It's super awesome day to be alive and in TDH house again. Polly Rich says, morning, TDH. Looking forward to this discussion. Me too. But folks, we've got to have another discussion before we get to our daily focus with Shawnette Somner. Now, some months back, we had a discussion about All Shore's proposed partnership with the Phoenix stores. At the time, many people expressed concern about what the arrangement could mean for Bermuda and Bermudians. The Bermuda Health Council and the government eventually became involved, resulting in the deal being postponed for 60 days. As I said then, that delay felt more like a pause than a solution. It may have provided time for further review and discussion, but many people suspected the outcome would ultimately be the same. According to the Royal Gazette, the arrangement is now moved forward, with all shores stating that certain high-cost pharmaceuticals, including weight loss drugs, will be covered through this partnership. The company says the change affects a small list of very expensive medications representing approximately 3% of prescriptions, but nearly 1/3 of overall prescription costs. They have also stated that the remaining 97% of prescriptions can continue to be filled at a member's pharmacy of choice. Now, for some people, that explanation may be reassuring. For me, it raises a larger question about choice and what we're willing to give up in the name of cost savings. Now, let's be fair. Healthcare costs in Bermuda are a major concern. Few people would argue against efforts to reduce prescription costs or make healthcare more affordable. If there are legitimate savings available, then that deserves serious consideration. However, what concerns many people is not necessarily this specific change, it's the precedent it may set. We've seen situations before where a policy begins by affecting a small number of people only to gradually expand over time. Today, it's 3%. The question many people are asking is, what happens 5 years from now or 10 years from now? Does that percentage remain small or does it continue to grow? One comment on the Royal Gazette website captured a sentiment that I'm sure many of you can relate to. They wrote, quote, "No large company ever made changes to benefit its customers. They make them to benefit their shareholders." Let me repeat that. This comment on the Royal Gazette said, and I quote, "No large company ever made changes to benefit its customers. They make changes to benefit their shareholders," end quote. Now, whether you agree with that statement or not, it reflects a skepticism many people have when corporations make decisions that appear to reduce customer choice. People naturally wonder who benefits most from these arrangements. I've often said that while Bermuda's healthcare system has challenges, there are aspects of the American healthcare system that many Bermudians would never want to see replicated in Bermuda. In the United States, it's not uncommon for someone to change jobs and suddenly discover that their doctor, specialist, preferred pharmacy is no longer covered because they're outside of an insurance network. Many Bermudians hear about arrangements like this and worry that we're taking small steps in that direction. That may not be the intention, but perception matters. Trust, choice matters. And healthcare is one of those areas where people become understandably nervous when they feel their options may be shrinking. At the same time, there are others who will argue that if the partnership lowers costs and helps keep insurance premiums under control, then difficult decisions may be necessary. That's a perspective worth considering as well. But maybe the real discussion is, how do we balance affordability with choice? How do we control costs without limiting access? And how much involvement should government have when private insurers make decisions that impact thousands of policyholders? So your question of the morning today is, what are your thoughts on the All Shores and Phoenix Stores partnership? And we'll give you the poll once we come back. Stick with us. Give it some thought. Don't go anywhere.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
All right, audience, you heard the question. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Question of the morning: what are your thoughts on the All Shores and Phoenix Stores partnership? You heard what I just said. You know, at the end of the day, when that delay happened, we always knew it was gonna happen, right? It was just, let's postpone it. For what? For what? For what? What was the point of the postponement? That's what I think people want to know. What was the point? And, you know, the big picture is this. At the end of the day, they've moved forward with the partnership, saying it will only impact 3%. This is after the government and Bermuda Health Council delayed it for 60 days. What was the point of the delay? Now, let me let you know early. According to the schedule, it looks like we'll have the CEO of the Bermuda Health Council on next Monday. So we can ask him these questions. I think at this point, we need to know the purpose of the existence of the Bermuda Health Council. Many people believe the delay was about buying time rather than changing the outcome. Again, if that was the case, what was the point? I think Bermudians are seen as easy to get over. Meaning, I've told you what a former politician said, OBA politician, and Bermudians while they're marching against the OBA say, oh, they'll get over it. Which, unfortunately, they didn't. During the OBA's entire time in power, led by an aggressive opposition, people were agitators. They couldn't even host town hall meetings. But what happened? We're the agitators now. We're the people who are concerned. You know, I do make excuses for people because I say, look, people have their own struggles. They have their own families to support. They don't have time to fight. Maybe people know this, and this is why they do the things they do, because they understand that people are too occupied doing other things. But this partnership, I'm not saying it will be, but it could definitely be the beginning of a changing way to do business in Bermuda. I'm sorry, but Bermuda does not need to go down the road of the United States of America. Years ago, people said, we need not follow the US with education. Well, this is another area we don't need to follow the US. Trust me on that. Just imagine, a lot of Bermudians I know go to the doctor of their choice for years. Imagine that one day you change jobs, great opportunity, and the insurer says, oh, we don't cover that doctor. This doctor knows everything. You have a relationship. Again, I'm not saying this is where it'll head, but this is the danger of where it could go. When you take, even if it's 3%, when you take choice away from people. Question of the morning, folks. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. What are your thoughts on the Old Shores and Phoenix Stores partnership? And here's the poll for you. Do you believe government should have done more to stop it? Do you, just a yes or no? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do you believe government should have done more to stop this deal? Just 1 for yes, 2 for no. Let's go to the audience. We've got Gaynell Hayward says, Jamal, thank you for keeping it real. This deal should be permanent. The Health Council is not effective. I have questions, and I was happy to see, Ms. Gaynell Hayward, I was happy to see that. We will be having the CEO of the Bermuda Health Council on next Monday, according to the schedule I was shown last night. So the timing couldn't be better. These are valid questions. What happens to GEHI persons who are not part of this consortium? Yeah? Affordability, accessibility, and availability are quickly going south. Yep. This is to me, in such a small community like Bermuda, this is such a big and important topic. It boggles the mind that this is not top of mind. Look, folks, I know we just had Bermuda Day. I know we're getting into holiday mode. We've got national heroes and people are buying, spending their money on like costumes, and they're listening to they're going to the parties, and we're drinking and we're getting dressed up. I know that we're distracted by that. And sometimes there's distractions. Keep us sane. I get it. But I don't know who said it. But don't get caught slipping. Because what happens today, if we allow it, will impact us and your children, your grandchildren, for generations to come if you don't get a hold of it. This is bad. This is bad. It stinks. And my hope is that collectively, just go back. You can look at the shows months ago when I said, "Oh, they're just asking them to delay it." It's going to happen because the way they look at Bermudians is, oh, they'll complain and then they'll forget about it. And let me be very clear. A colleague of mine at one of the, well, it's not too many, but you'll figure it out. But a colleague of mine in this same space in Bermuda said to me years ago, we can't have conversations like this because as long as we're relying on advertising and sponsorship, we risk not generating revenue. I'm going to tell you all now, our title sponsor was in the news for redundancies, and we spoke about it on this show. That's who I am. Yes, we need money to live and survive, but if you don't know who I am, I tell you what, a clear conscience will always be better for me than the almighty dollar. So this isn't about Phoenix Stores or Old Shores. This is not about these companies in particular. They just happen to be the players. There's a bigger picture here. And these conversations are necessary for anyone in the media to discuss, for anyone to allow people to engage about this stuff, because you're going to get it on this program. We're not here to criticize them. We're not here to make them the big bad wolf. We're here to have honest, engaging conversations in the best interest of the greater community. That's why we have these conversations. Let's go to the audience. What are your thoughts on the Old Shores and Phoenix partnership? We've got Charles H. Jeffers II says, I don't like it. With a shrinking population and companies merging, choices are becoming limited. With limited choices, limited service, and higher overall prices usually follows. Not a good direction. Okay. Suzanne Ingham says, I've always wondered for the past 55 years why we follow the USA. We've got Sky Hudson says, it's a shame that we have to follow other countries. Well, see, I don't have a problem with Bermuda following other countries. There are places like Singapore, many countries who do a lot of things. It's not about what we follow in other countries. It's about what we choose to follow. But think about it. Many countries followed Bermuda's lead at one point when it came to tourism. We were the example. I think it's about what we choose to follow. And at the end of the day, following doesn't mean we do exactly what other countries are doing. Sometimes we take a little from here, a little from there, and then find a way to make it work for us. And when I say for us, the people who make up the country. We've got Ms. Ellen Kate Horton says the wealthier getting wealthier. Yeah. We've got Polly Rich says, my question is, why is this being allowed? It started with the purchasing of doctor's office. Government saw it then, nothing. Now this, nothing. It won't stop. Health council useless. They do what the ministry says. Okay. We've got Ms. Gaynell Hayward says, this type of merger has also happened to our grocery stores. Man, I say it all the time. Linda's, please don't ever let us down. I say it. And I say that with love and respect for the greater economy. We've seen it happen. And these are the kind of conversations that everyone needs to be having with their government MPs or, their constituency meetings or whatever. When they have these little meetings, have these. Make them speak up for you. Make them pass policy and legislation that's going to protect you and generations to come. I agree. Monopolies are not good for small jurisdictions like Bermuda. They're just not. People need choice. Gaynell Hayward says, wake up, Bermuda, and stop sleeping. Why are we so quiet? I agree. We've got Talent Clark says, we need to lead with our dollars, our money, our pockets, our wallets. Choose smaller insurance companies for our coverage to impact their bottom line. Well, it's interesting Talent mentions it. This is an opportunity. You know, I've said for years, you've got people with all this reinsurance experience, insurance experience. Some of you are going to have to make the sacrifice your ancestors made for you. I know you're living great lives. You've got these great salaries. Did you hear nothing that the legendary Catherine Duffy said 2 weeks ago on this show? What I took from it is they could take it from you at any time. Pool your money together and start a small insurance company. I don't like to tell people what to do. But as the intellectual Rashida Godwin often says, you can't pass a job on to your children and grandchildren. I thank you for that, Talent, Clark. We've got Charles H. Jeffers II says the problem that we have is that we, Government Health Council, are reactive when it comes to putting laws and policies in place. We should be looking at the landscape and protecting consumers. Charles, this goes back to that plan that you often speak of. If we had a proper plan for the island, that would be a no-brainer to be way ahead of this. That's why you need a combination of people, white collar, blue collar, laborers, lawyers, doctors, all in the room to know what's coming down the road. I swear nothing seems like it's being done in the best interest of the people. And that's sad to me. Folks, this was your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. So it looks like 100% of you believe the government should have done more to stop this deal. 100% of you feel that way. And I'm not surprised by that. I am not surprised by that. But let me be clear. And I say this with respect. Understanding entrepreneurship and how business works. All Shores and Phoenix only did what they were allowed to do. They only did what they were allowed to do. You know, it's like being in a relationship, an abusive relationship. It doesn't even have to be abusive, but you're in a relationship where the other half is cheating. That person is only doing what they believe their partner is allowing them to do. Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. 100% of you feel the government should have done more to stop it. You'll need to reach out to your people. You'll wait until the elections happen, and then you start talking to them. We have a responsibility to do more for ourselves and our well-being. This was your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
Alrighty, folks. Let's, we'll do Days of the Year afterwards, but we've got Bermudian Icons brought to you by ZipX.
Welcome to TDH's Bermudian Icons series, brought to you by the great folks at ZipX. Chew Stick is not just an organization. It's one of the most important cultural interventions that Bermuda's seen in the last generation, because what it's done very intentionally was to create space for Bermudian voices, especially Black Bermudian voices, to be expressed, explored, and taken seriously through spoken word, music, and live performance. Before Chew Stick, that kind of platform didn't really exist at scale. And that matters because culture doesn't develop in a vacuum. It needs infrastructure. It needs somewhere to live, somewhere to grow, somewhere to build. And that's what Chew Stick made. That's what they did. And the impact isn't just in the events. It's in the people who came through it. Artists, thinkers, performers who found their voice there and carried it forward into other spaces. But like most cultural institutions, its influence is diffuse. It shows up everywhere, but rarely gets credited directly. So if you're looking at Bermuda's modern cultural identity, Chew Stick is one of the foundational pieces. Straight up and down, no debate. It's not loud necessarily, not always visible, but structurally, absolutely critical. And that's today's Bermudian Icon series, brought to you by the great folks at ZipX. Now back to the show.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Teo. Thanks to ZipX and Chew Stick, indeed. You know, I've attended one Chew Stick in my life, and it was a time. It reminded me of spoken word in the United States, and I like a little live spoken word, well, I used to. You know, I can't stay out past 9 these days. Real quickly, we've got to give you a days of the year, folks. So it's National Rotisserie Chicken Day. And so go get yourself a rotisserie chicken, I guess. We have, it's Business Etiquette Day week. Yeah, Etiquette Week. We've got, I like this one. National Leave the Office Earlier Day. I want to ask you all something. I mean, you all, 5 o'clock comes and you're out anyway. But anyway, if you could choose one day of your work week to leave the office early, what day would that be? What day would that be? You all are going to say Friday, aren't you? I would say, I think the audience is going to say Friday. But if you could leave work early one day a week, what day would that be? In the interest of it is, and do not tell your boss that Jamal said, well, boss, it says National Leave the Office Earlier Day today. Don't go starting trouble, because I'm not trying to get in any domestics or get anybody, in trouble, right? We need to stay employed. The economy is not friendly right now. We've got Suzanne Ingham says Wednesday. Okay. Traveling Trotty also said Wednesday. Why Wednesday? Brittany Yas says Monday. Okay, Monday. I would probably say Monday because Monday has seemed like the longest. I would probably say Monday. Yeah. Monday, and then you get in there and then you come back refreshed for the rest of the week. I would say Monday, but interesting to know Wednesday. All right, folks. Midweek break, says Suzanne Ingham. All right, folks. We've got to take a break. After this, we've got one of our TDH community members on. We love to having our TDH community members on. We've got Shawnette Somner. Folks, this to me is another important question. It's another important conversation, discussion. We're talking retirement, the reality of retirement. Some people make it to retirement. Some people, once they make it, have to work harder than ever. Some people get bored, have to figure out what to do. What I will say before we even get into the conversation with Shawnette Somner is retirement, if you have life, retirement doesn't mean that your skills automatically go away. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you no longer have value or worth. We'll be right back with the conversation. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us.
Children love to play and have fun, and they love gifts even more, especially ones that they can enjoy and learn from. With Bermuda Trivia coloring books, kids can explore the island while they color, learn, and create. The perfect activity for fun and learning together. Available now.
Visit BermudaTrivia.com and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms to learn more.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
What lasts isn't what you buy, but what it becomes. With the HSBC MasterCard credit card, every spend quietly adds to a story shaped by intention and offers what matters most. Support that meets you where you are. Protection that preserves what you choose. Confidence for the unexpected. Peace of mind wherever your story leads. Start your next chapter. Use your card today. HSBC is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
You wanna come get some? Playing around. Playing around.
Ever taken medication and thought, why is this hitting me so hard? Or why isn't this doing anything at all? Here's something you may not know. Your body processes medication the same way it needs to process food, using enzymes. And these enzymes metabolize medication so it can be converted into its useful form or removed from your body. Pharmacogenetics looks at how your DNA influences the way your body metabolizes or breaks down medications. It helps explain why a drug that works well for one person causes side effects in another and barely works at all for someone else. That means the same pill at the same dose can feel very different from one person to the next. It's not about blame, it's not about doing something wrong, it's simply biology. And once you know what works best for you, medication decisions stop being guesswork and start becoming personalized.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Jamel Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour brought to you by the Big AC Group of Companies, HSBC Bermuda, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and big love to a hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. Well, we've got a very special guest in his house. I want to read these comments first because I think it'd be unfair. I just want to make this note as well. If you send us a message like inbox on Facebook or anywhere except our email or our website, it's probably not going to be seen in a timely manner. So if you're trying to communicate with someone within a daily hour, make sure you go on our website and submit there, or you can send an email, engage@thedailyhour.com if you don't want to write in the comments during a live program. But I want to read these comments real quickly before we bring Shawnette Somner in. Dorian wrote, why hasn't anybody complained about the marketplace monopoly? We only need insurance when we're sick, and presently we have a few other choices. We eat daily and only one other choice. We did have conversations about marketplace on here, and I'm pretty sure I saw many people complaining. Here's the challenge. It's not about complaining. It's about doing something beyond complaining. It's about action beyond comments. I think it's no different from right now. I mean, the next time something happens, we're going to say, why wasn't anyone complaining about Old Shores and Phoenix stores, right? So, no, I think it's beyond complaining. We've got Sean Smith said, the owners, children of the stores marketplace acquired did not want their family's business, and no one else wanted to purchase them. That's what he's saying in reference to marketplace. Says, so if marketplace did not step in, those store employees would not have a job. So that's what I was told from the inside as well. But either way, it doesn't change the fact that the monopolies don't seem to benefit people most of the time. All right, folks. Without further ado, let's bring our very special guest for the day. Can you all hear my can you hear the did you hear the drum roll just now? Did you all hear the drum roll? Let me know. Did you hear the air horn just now? Did you hear the air horn? How about the car horn? You hear the car horn? Can you hear everything? Because we want to make sure we got the sets, the stage set, sound effects, everything, right? Because we were having some problems earlier. We want to make sure that we give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest for the day. We've got Shawnette Somner, folks. Greetings.
Good morning, Jamal. Good morning.
Hold on.
TDH family.
They okay, so we didn't hear the drum roll. Oh, they heard it. Okay, they heard it. Whew. I just want to make sure. First off, before we get into anything regarding what we're here to discuss, I gotta ask you, did you want to?
I knew it was coming.
Well, see, I just know normally you'd be in the audience. I just had to ask you. I didn't want to take that away from you.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Jamal, that topic is likely going to give me headache, high blood pressure, and other issues, which I can't afford right now as a retiree. And I am dead serious. It's absolutely awful. And I will go so far as to say, I'm one of those people who went through my entire career not feeding off the health system. I was paying into it every month, every year for, over 30 something years before I retired. And there's no benefit to not being sick. I have a follow-up appointment today, and I had to say to the lady when she called for my follow-up appointment, I said, do I have to pay for this? Because if the answer was yes, I wasn't going. And so this is going to have a major effect on people's ability to just good health, which obviously affects your ability to live, right? And we should not, under any circumstances, be having to make that choice.
I agree.
It's awful.
I
It's
agree.
terrible.
I was just talking to someone yesterday from the TDH community about, in the US, there are times where they'll say, oh, your bill is $2,000, but if you pay it up front, you get 50% off. And it's just like, when you really think about that, it's like, so if you afford to pay it, you pay it. And if you can't, you're stuck with this growing debt over your head.
Yeah.
I would hate to believe that that's the direction that Bermuda is heading. But of course, you're not here to,
No.
But one more before we get into it. See, I'm gonna talk to you about this. So, days of the year, we did days of the year, and it is National Leave the Office Earlier Day. Now, when you were working, if you could leave the office early one day of the week, what day would it have been and why?
Now, I'm probably a little unique. It honestly would have just been any day that I felt like it.
Okay.
Depending on what was going on in the environment, it could be any day. But rest assured that if I was going to leave early, it was because I wanted to go and do something relaxing or fun.
Okay.
So it could be any day.
Left our options open, folks. Left our options open.
Yes.
Not a policy. All right. Well, let's jump into today's discussion, Shawnette. You have been an educator for many years, and not just in the classroom. You've been in the classroom. You've actually had your own school. You've been in the prisons. You've had different things you've done, like etiquette, teaching young ladies. You've done a lot. Like you've literally done a lot for those who don't know. There may be people who are tuned in right now who maybe, I don't know Shawnette. I don't know. Tell them a bit more about who you are and how you got where you are today in terms of made it to retirement.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I always give honor to my parents, Earl and Oni Bean, and my late grandmother, Pearl Joins, because it's because of them and my upbringing that I am who I am today. I always wanted to be a teacher. It was what I dreamed of as a child. I practiced with my dolls. I practiced with the neighborhood children. It was all I ever wanted to do. And above all, I wanted to have my own school. So I graduated North Carolina A&T State University and came home and began my teaching career in 1984. And I've always been very goal driven. So I already knew that I was not going to be one of those teachers that was going to stay in one school for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I wanted to move around so that I could realize my ultimate goal of opening my own school. So I spent the first 20 years of my career teaching primary school, middle school, high school. I was a mentor to new teachers. I was a principal at one of our local primary schools. And then it was time for me to open Star Academy. And Star Academy was my baby. It was my dream. It was just everything. And I just saw Star Academy becoming this big school that, everybody would send their children to. But unfortunately, like so many other people, during the recession around 2009, 2010, 2011, I lost my school and I hit like an all-time low mentally because that was my dream. It was like my dream was dead. But I also realized that that couldn't be the end for me. So I had to figure out what I was going to do next. Now, interestingly, my next path took me to a place that was offered to me 20 years prior. And so I became the education officer at the Department of Corrections. And there I stayed for 10 years and loved it.
I must say that I forgot that you were a principal, and my apologies on that.
That's okay. Titles don't phase me. You know that.
It gives credibility to the conversation today. And yes, you've had an extensive career
I have
as an educator. Now, so many have careers, they have so much to offer. And then that time comes, right? That time comes that, no matter how great we are at what we do, right? There's a deadline, there's an expiration date. And retirement is often viewed as the finish line of a career.
Right.
It's actually the start of a new chapter. What was the biggest adjustment for you when you retired?
Definitely financial, because you don't get that full paycheck anymore. In fact, what portion that you get, you can't survive in Bermuda. You really can't. I don't care what anybody says, you can't. You have to find a way to supplement your financial support. And so that was a great challenge for me. But the good thing for me is that I started before retirement. So it's what they call the side hustles, right? So I tutor. I still love to work with young people, and I also tutor a lot of adults. I've also been heavily involved with facilitating at the Department of Workforce Development. I've done a lot of training in terms of leadership, because that's my passion, leadership. So in leadership, management and delivery, in communication, customer service, and team building. I've actually built those presentations and done them, to various businesses around the island. And so that was a struggle for me, finance. And the second thing that I struggled with was I'm very social, but at the same time, I love being by myself. My friends are all still working. So I retired at the age of 60 because that's the law. When you work in the prison, police, and fire, you retire at 60. You kind of have to go. And my friends are still working to 65 or now 70. So when I'm up and ready to go somewhere, they're either at work or they're exhausted. Yeah.
Something tells me they may envy you a bit, though. But
well, a couple of them are watching, so maybe they can answer that question.
Yeah. Many people tie a large part of their identity to their profession. How important is it to redefine your purpose and meaning once that chapter closes, once you bring your career to an end?
You have to actually start beforehand. You actually cannot wait until it actually hits you. So it's being constantly redefined. I, I'm constantly making decisions on should I, can I, and what's going to be the consequence, whether it's a positive one or a negative one, if I say, okay, yes, I'm going to go ahead and do this. But one of the things that retirement does, it actually forces you to towards new paths and new opportunities. And what I'm finding is that many people who have even retired years before me, who are much older than me, they're still just not understanding that it's not too late. You can still do new things. So I'm constantly having to look at what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how it's benefiting me. And that may sound selfish, but in retirement, you have to look out for yourself.
Indeed. Indeed.
Mhm.
Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Shawnette, you can send them in. And for those tuned in on the radio, we're speaking with Shawnette Somner, former educator. She's speaking about the realities of retirement. And Shawnette, I want to go back to something you said earlier because you spoke about how, I think prisons, police retire 55, 60, and how, some of your friends are still working. They're not 65 in many spaces at 65. And I think that that's now been raised in government, I believe, the retirement age since you've been gone.
It has been raised, and the unfortunate thing with that is that many people in these entities where retirement is allowed at 60, they're trying to pull out before April 1st. So where there's short staffing, there's going to be shorter staffing.
But
People want to get out.
I want to touch on, because you said earlier about your friends working and you're sometimes by yourself and so on. And while retirement does offer freedom, it can also bring challenges like isolation and loss of routine. What are some of the realities people don't always anticipate when it comes to that? Like, I could imagine, like, when I became an entrepreneur, I thought I would have more time. I have less time, right?
Less time, yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. But speak to retirement, like the downside of it.
Yeah. Well, for me, first of all, I've never been one to sleep in late, but you can find yourself laying in bed sometimes all day. Now, because my schedule is pretty hectic, I make sure I take time to do stuff like that from time to time. And at least 4 days out of a 7-day week, I make sure I lay down and I literally take a nap for an hour and a half in the middle of the day to keep myself energized. But if you don't have some sort of a routine, and I'll give you an example. I desperately need to get into some form of exercise. I've gained weight because I'm not active. And interestingly, somebody made a comment about my weight in public a couple months ago. And I said to myself, Shawnette, you've really grown, because ordinarily, I would have said a few things to this person that would have probably sent them through the sidewalk. But you have to make decisions in terms of when people are going out. You say, well, I can't go because you just don't have the finances to be able to do some of the things that people want to do with you. So the downside, yeah, you can get lonely. And the other thing is that because you're retired, people tend to think that you're at home all day twiddling your thumbs, and so therefore you have a whole lot of time to do the things that they need done. So I've had to make sure not to utilize my time like that. Now, unless it's my mom or my immediate family, then that's different. But people seem to think that you have a whole lot of time to spend a few hours working on some of the projects that they don't have time to do. Yeah.
I'm not retired, but that's relatable. I had a friend visiting from Bermuda last week, and I'm based in Georgia, folks. But I had a friend visiting from Bermuda, and he's on vacation. And when the daily hour finishes, a lot of people think, "Oh, okay, that's all he does." And I'm just like, Bermuda Communications has many more companies. We have people to answer to. We have things to do. And so it gave context for him, just like, wow, I didn't realize you were so busy. And I don't think I'm that busy. I just think that I'm productive. I'm working, I'm doing stuff.
Right. Exactly.
That's what you're explaining. Like being retired, doesn't mean that you're not productive or you're not able to do things or you're not doing things. And that's a reality that I don't think a lot of people face. Audience, again, if you have any questions or comments for Shawnette, you can send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Now, let's speak from your experience. What are some of the key things to maintaining? You mentioned physical, maybe and emotional well-being during retirement, like that process. Like it almost seems like a person as outgoing as you, as involved as you, as you've always been a busy person. I mean, radio show, the etiquette classes, you've done so much. I mean, is therapy something that people should try as they transition?
Well, some people may have to. And the thing is, I'm very present on social media. And so no matter where I go, people are like, oh, you're always doing something. Life looks like so much fun. You're always traveling. We'll speak about that in a minute. You have to, what I say, get up, get dressed, and get out. And even if you're just taking a drive, right? Now, one of the things that I've really come to enjoy is going up on the ferry. I still have to pay for it. Now, this is interesting. I didn't retire at 65. I retired at 60. But you know how people retire at 65 and they get to ride public transportation for free? Not the case. I still have to pay for it. But anyway, I've inquired about it. But I get up. I'll go to the park. If I go get a takeout, I go and sit somewhere near the ocean to eat it. I'm not going to stay in my house. So you have to, because your mental well-being is so important. And also for me, because I'm a certified coach, I do a lot of one-on-one work with people who are having some serious personal issues, which I don't speak about, I don't post about because they're confidential, but helping these people through their issues, I have to make sure that I take care of me. So I encourage people to find a hobby. What is it that you love? I mean, I love singing. I sing so much to myself. I've probably got enough for, at least 10 full CDs. I love to sing. I love karaoke. So people who are retiring or retired need to find what it is that's going to make them happy. I love writing. I love writing poems. My next book is getting ready to come out. It's an inspirational book, but you have to find things and schedule time for you, just like you would schedule any other appointment. It's so important. Take a walk, right? Take a nap. These things are so important.
I appreciate that. You said you're very active on social media, and it's got me thinking of your travels and how you can just travel and do as you please. And
yes,
what that does for your mental state.
So I will share this publicly, Jamal, because I knew that I would struggle financially living in Bermuda. I had actually been in the process of making plans to relocate. And I was supposed to be gone by August 2024. And if it was not for two very major errors by my lawyer, I would have been gone. But, the old saying, and I've heard the pastor at church say this sometimes, everything happens for a reason. And God has a sense of humor because I'm still here. But it's tough being here because with this small island, and I often compare myself to that pot that's simmering on the stove where the lid is just going boing, 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 right? That's me wanting to get out of that pot, and I'm limited in what I can do here. I've been, oh my gosh, I don't want to use the word victim because I don't see myself as a victim, but it's like, oh, Shawnette would be really, really good at this, but nah, let's not include her because, and I get it. I know that about my personality. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do an excellent job. And some people maybe showed up, but that's not my intent. anything that I put myself to do, I'm going to do exceptionally well, right? So this island is actually too small for me. And so mentally, when I leave, like the minute the plane is running down the runway, I honestly feel like I've dropped 50 pounds. And it shouldn't be that way. But when the plane is landing, coming back home, I feel like it's almost like it waited for me on the runway and jumped right back on my back. So I travel a lot. And I'm going to say this real quick because people wonder, okay, well, financially, right? How does one travel? And I tell people there is a trick to it. You have to engage in things and incentives that give you travel perks. And that's the only way I can travel. But yeah, I have to leave her as often as I can.
I must say, hearing that breaks my heart, and it should everybody. I mean, if there's someone listening who can help make a difference, whether it's legislation or policy, I hope that like tickles their heart as well. When you said coming back, when that plane lands coming back, like a person who's given so much to Bermuda, to their country, the place that they, had mostly their entire career, raised their children. Like, you shouldn't have to feel like that when you're retired. And I think, if nothing else, audience, take that on today. Because if we're blessed, if we're lucky enough to make it to retirement, all of us, this is a feeling none of us should have to feel.
Nope.
It hurts to hear you say that. Honestly, you should not feel that way. Before we go to the audience, though, you stay busy. And it's not just busy about traveling and doing for self, but you stay busy trying to find ways to help others. You have an upcoming event focused on retirement and life beyond work. What inspired it, and what can attendees expect to gain from the experience?
What inspired it is the comments that I get from people everywhere I go. Doesn't matter, grocery store, restaurant, the spa, no matter where I go. Like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Like, how are you enjoying retirement? And the other thing that inspired it is that, like you said, Jamel, I've had a number of friends who had either just retired or who were soon to be retired that have either passed away or they've developed very serious health issues. And again, I'm thinking, you know what? Like, how do we break this? Because retirement is meant to be enjoyed. Would I go back out and work full time if I found or got the perfect job that made me happy? Because I've never worked in a place where I could say the work made me miserable. It might have been some other things, some people in leadership and all that type of stuff. But I've enjoyed everything that I have done. If I were to work full time again, rest assured it's going to be in a place where I am excited. But I'm inspired by people who just don't know what to do. They don't, and I've had these conversations with people. What are you good at? Well, not much. A young lady came to me, and I say young, she's actually older than me, but I'm young. She came to me, she's like, Shawnette, I'm getting ready to retire. She's in education as an assistant. She says, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, well, what are your skills? She says, well, 15 years ago, I had my business doing X, Y, Z. I said, well, why can't you revisit that? Well, I don't know who's going to support it. I said, listen, and I gave her some pointers on how to get back out there to some of her former clients and let your former clients spread the word. Well, sure enough, she did it. And, she's happy in what she's doing. But people seem to think that because you're retiring, you got to go sit somewhere like you are of no more use and you don't have anything within you that you can give to the world. Like, I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of thoughts. I just feel stifled. I feel very stifled.
We've got to the audience, Shawnette. We've got Michelle White says, Shawnette, please give us examples of how new retirees can discover new income sources.
Right. So that speaks to what I just mentioned. Everybody, I truly believe this, that everybody has a skill, whether it's baking, whether it's writing, it could be cleaning, painting, whatever. Take that skill and look to entrepreneurship. And I can't say it any easier than that. Finding a place, for instance, a friend of mine retired and all she wanted to do was work at a particular grocery store. She wanted to be a cashier. That was her dream. And that's what she did part-time. So if it's something you want to do that you love, then go for it.
Yeah. We've got Suzanne Ingham. She says, you are here for a purpose, Shawnette, but she gave some advice. She says you can go and get your seniors card from TCD. Picture is taken $8 and Viola free ride for bus and ferry. But she says, can I see you and have a chat, please? And then she says, I don't know what to do either. I'm getting ready to go out the door too. I need help. Can you help me? So
well, come on to the event on Sunday, Suzanne. That's what it's all about.
We've got Anika De Shields says, do consulting based on your skill and make your hours or accept specific projects, basically. I agree with you. I've said for years that if you can work for others, those skills, you have a skill that you've done work for yourself. I think what scares people is that, they feel a level of responsibility that they probably have not had. But also consulting, as Anika said, consulting could be a form of that for you. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II. He said, due to the cost of living with that, we're losing our intellectual capital. We've got Jay Lamb says, we are so glad that you are still here. I know you're we love you, Shawnette. It's Pastor Jay.
It's Pastor Jay at Evening Light. I've started going to church at Evening Light, and Pastor Jay, every time he speaks from the pulpit about people believing that they should be somewhere else, but they're here, I'm sitting here like, is he talking to me? But I mean, it's right. I'm here.
See, we're alike. See, that's why, they be picking on me when I go to church. Evening Light, interesting. That's where I went Sunday school as a child.
Okay.
Yeah. But
thank you, Pastor Jay. I love you too.
I have a question that has absolutely nothing to do with the conversation.
Yes.
From Charles II. He says, as an educator, how do you feel about the state of our current educational system? I heard recently that one school is due to lose a large number of staff because they're approaching 65.
Why Charles want to do this to me today? That's another hour-long conversation. I don't think it's a secret that, I've been extremely frustrated for a long time, a very long time. This is my 42nd year in education, still doing it. I got to a point where it was just like, you know what, especially after my school closed, and I'm talking to a friend of mine right now. I'll put this out there. If we can find the perfect venue, people are like, why don't you? People ask me every year about reopening Star Academy, which has been closed since December 2011. But I'm talking with someone right now whose belief about education, the way they operate is very much like mine. And we're just like, let's find that venue and let's run with it, because it will be the best school on the island. There's also a position that's been advertised. And when I tell you, my phone has been ringing off the hook and messages, you should apply, you should apply. I'm very passionate. I got to a point where it's just like, let me see what I can do in my little corner. And so I do a lot of tutoring. I love tutoring. And I'm looking at the state of these children that are coming to me and working with them and watching them thrive. And I'm just like, what is happening? Notwithstanding, on the other hand, I worked with them as grown children in the prison. So, Jamel, that's a very sensitive topic for me, but one that the conversation needs to be had. It frustrates me when I see the state of things. It really does.
I say this with a strange smile. Seems like we'll have you back to have a conversation about that.
Hey, after all, people say when you're talking about certain topics and people say, well, what you gonna do? Fire me? I can't get fired.
I like the way you sound. I like that. Kevin Pringle said, Shawnette also has a family business to fall back on, trying to get her to do my tours. Speak to me, but speak to me about the importance of having a family or a supportive network when you're transitioning into retirement.
Right. Well, as Shari said, Shari started driving for the family business well after me. The first thing I did when I graduated is I got my taxi license. And I used to drive quite a bit. I also have my minibus license. So this gets back to the question Michelle asked, like, what can I fall on if I need extra money? And this is what I want to stress to retirees. But I'm grateful that I have my mom and my dad. I have my sons who give me things from a different perspective because, they're young. They're only 28 and 39, but they look at it from a different perspective. Mom, this is what you should do in 2026, right? I'm very thankful. My sisters, Sherry Lynn and Cyrita, even my nieces, watching them operate their business, I'm learning a lot from them as well. But I also appreciate that a lot of people don't have that type of family support. The good thing I will say, though, about me and actually everybody in my family, we don't rely on each other for financial support. All of us have been taught to find a way, make a way. And so that's the good thing. So I try to encourage people that if you don't have that family support, who are your friends? Who are the people that you look up to? Even the people within your church, even if you start with just 2 people that you can just communicate with and just bounce ideas off of. And it's also good for your mental well-being.
Yeah. Indeed. Let's go back to the audience. We've got Dr. Tiffany Monique says, Shawnette, if you start another school, I'd be happy to fly students about nursing. Well, that's what about who you surround yourself with and having the right people there. But speak to us about stuff like that, like how important it is to have people, if you do decide to go that route, who want to support you.
Absolutely. That's Tiff all the way in Dallas, Texas. It is so important. So one of the things, and I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and Jamel, I'm sure you can relate to this with what you do. I have a shipload of resources. I have resources for just about everything. I can get information easily. If I post something on Facebook, people will inbox me information and they know I'm going to hold it sacred, right? But people, again, they'll come to you and they're just like, hey, do you know anybody that works at this place? Or do you know? And I'm like, I really don't, because you have to be careful allowing people to use your name for your resources and then, burning bridges on your behalf, right? Can you relate to that, Jamel?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I were to reopen a school with the person that I'm in talks with, because I wouldn't do it by myself, it would be so important to have our young people, let's just look at what it is that they're interested in and channel them toward those areas of what they are interested in. Everybody sitting in rows of desks, turning to page 29, that's going out the window. But we're so driven by, you've got to get through this curriculum and then you got to do these exams. And that's what's killing our young people. That's what's killing them. My school wouldn't be like that. Not at all. So no.
We've got Miss Ellen Kate Horton says, a trip is one thing, but I will always return despite the many problems we have. Bermuda is home. I love it. I love that many persons trust me enough to reach out if they have issues. I get it. But I also see the other side. I mean, many people don't realize this, but I've actually lived the majority of my life in the United States. And because I've remained so connected to Bermuda, I've remained involved in things in Bermuda. And I remember having a conversation with someone who was living in New York. And I did work for a company in California, and I'm like, Bermuda is closer to where I live than you are to California. My point is, with the world becoming so much smaller, we are never really truly too far away from home to make an impact and make a difference. And I absolutely do love Bermuda and love Bermudians. Transparency. Do I feel hard done by Bermuda and the government? Absolutely. We spent years fighting against conscription. They felt years trying to criminalize us for standing for the very things that created the party that was in government at the time. Do I have something against Bermudians for not speaking up? It taught me and told me everything I know. This morning we discussed the partnership with Old Shores in Phoenix. We've discussed various things on this show. Nothing surprises me because of how people were when we were fighting for that cause. So when I think about why people leave, everyone's privilege is going to be different. And I do believe those people in Bermuda do have some sort of privilege. My privilege didn't make me want to stay. It made me feel like I was not wanted. And I'm not the kind of person who wants to fight to be where I'm not wanted. That's not me. I don't want to be included. My whole fight with conscription was I wanted to be excluded. I'm not interested in, if you don't want Black people in this place, I'm cool. I'm going to create my own space. That's how I think. That's me. So while I can appreciate where Ms. Ellen Kate Horton's coming from, I also can appreciate where those who leave for their own sanity, their peace, their happiness, their love, and their families. I get it, because I can relate to exactly how you feel. Shawnette, before
and if I can I just add, Jamel, and I'm going to say this publicly, and you'll remember the conversation we had last September when I was visiting in Atlanta, and you said something which I've actually repeated it to several persons in terms of Jamel said. You said something to me that I will never forget, because we were talking about, why my paperwork didn't come through for me to relocate. And you said to me, you're living the best of both worlds. And you further said, you're living the type of life that a lot of people would want to have, to be able to be in Bermuda, but also to travel, and also to do a lot of what I do online, right? And I had never thought about it that way. I really hadn't. But I want to thank you for saying that, because it has resonated with me just about every week since you said it in September. Yeah.
Let me add, you get to enjoy the best of both worlds without having to pay the taxes in the United States too. That's
well, there you go. And see, with my grandchildren live in the United States, so of course I have to go, right? But yeah, without the taxes, and I'll just go for as long as I like and come back. But the activities and the things, I saw your Facebook post and I shared with you. I don't know why, but all I wanted to do was experience that gun range that you get to do all the time, right? And I got to do it in December, and oh my gosh. And I posted it and I shared it with some friends, and one friend came lashing back at me like, don't you send me anything like that ever again. And I was like, whoa, that wasn't the purpose, but I realized it's a sensitive topic here in Bermuda, right?
Yeah.
But I was like in my glory. I was so excited. I love driving on the highway for hours and miles, the freedom of the highway, or just to wake up at 10 o'clock at night, which I don't usually eat that late. But if I'm hungry, I can go and find something to eat. Right. I love it. I love it.
It's a different kind of freedom, and again, culturally, there's things that we'll do in different spaces. Quite a few people are asking. Polly Rich says, "What event? Did I miss the info?" Polly Rich, Suzanne Ingham says, "That's what I thought." Polly, did I miss it? They want details.
Okay.
Still have tutoring middle age as well. So.
Okay, so let me just say to people, first of all, I'm easy to find on social media. Send me a message on Facebook, I will respond. But on Sunday from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., I am having what's called a retirement reality. And it's for retired persons, or people who have retired, or people who are on the road to retirement. Now, what's interesting is that the people who have signed up already are all women. It's for men too. But anyway, if you're interested, feel free to hit me up, or you can send me an email, Shawnette Somner @gmail.com. or on Facebook, just hit me up and I'll give you the information. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be inspirational. And it's come as a result, as Jamel asked earlier, people just asking me, well, like, how do you do it? Don't get me wrong. Retirement is not a walk in the park, and it's not all peaches and cream. I have to map out my week very carefully every week, right down to the finances, because a pension is no joke. And it pains me. Like, it will bring me to tears, literally, to walk into our grocery stores and see seniors packing groceries, because that's all they can do, like up on their feet for hours. Like that kills me. It kills me. It should not be happening.
I want you to leave with this as well, with saying that, because there are people approaching retirement right now.
Yes.
They're years away from it. Well, just give some advice to them about preparing, not just financially, but personally and emotionally for this life.
So remember that this is your journey. And I can't emphasize enough the importance of not feeling like you're going to use this time for everybody else. And I'll give you one quick example. A lot of people retire, mainly women, and it's like they leave one job and go to a new full-time job of caring for their grandchildren, right? And that's great. That's awesome. But if you're doing that on a daily 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, you are still bound by you cannot get out and enjoy yourself. That's your children's children. I love my grandchildren. Wish they were closer. I'd spend more time with them. But think about what you're going to do, like plan it now. What is it what skill do you have, or what hobby that you can actually turn into some form of entrepreneurship, right? Be comfortable with being by yourself. Do the things that make you happy. If going to the beach and just sitting off reading a book makes you happy, make sure you do that at least a couple times a week, right? But it can be very daunting. Financially, start thinking about some things that you can no longer do anymore. Like, for instance, I used to do the bi-weekly nail appointment. I took my nails off. I just can't do that anymore. It's expensive, right? So we start looking at wants and needs when it comes to retirement. And that's not to say you should deprive yourself of some of the things that you want. But if you want this, then something over here has to give. It's a constant juggling act. Yeah.
I think a lot of what you said will resonate with so many people. As we have an audience who know people who are heading toward retirement, some themselves are heading there. And some people want to retire early, but I think you've answered some questions. I'm grateful that you were open to sharing your journey. Folks, go ahead. She's easy to find on Facebook. Go check out, see what's happening this weekend, and let's see how everyone can benefit. I want to say this, and not just because you're here. I really appreciate that doing this show for these reasons, to have conversations like this. It's one thing to share something on social media, but to engage and find ways to create events like what you're doing to help people. That's called purpose. And I really, really appreciate you doing what you're doing. And I don't want to scare you off, but I'd love, as Charles said, probably right before the new school year kicks in, to have another conversation about the state of education in Bermuda from an educator's perspective, because I know how passionate, Shawnette, you are about education. I remember wondering how you do it. Like, they backgrounds. Your dolls is one thing because they don't background saying so on. Real people, humans and children. I'm just like, that's a lot, but you have to have a love for it. And you definitely have a love for it. So I think I speak for everyone when we say thank you for still being interested in helping people and educating people even past retirement. And we look forward to continuing the conversation going forward.
If I could just add, first of all, thank you for that. I believe that I am a natural born leader. right? And that's when I got my master's degree, that's what I got it in. And so one of the things that frustrates me is when leadership is done poorly. But when it comes to our children, we are their leaders, right? And there's a quote that I'll leave you with. It was said by Sheryl Sandberg, who was the former COO for Facebook, now Meta. And she said that leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence to make sure that impact lasts in your absence. So as I interact with people, I want to be a leader to that person, to lead by example. Leadership for me is not about I'm in charge and I have all the answers, so do as I say and I'm going to dictate, X, Y, and Z. So even when it comes to forums like this, the retirement, I'm using my leadership skills to try to inspire and empower other people. But that quote really resonates with me like daily.
Yeah. No, I it's necessary and I appreciate it. It's something I'm trying to find it. It's in my signature in my email. It says, I depart this earth. My hope is that I would have achieved more than enough to improve the livelihood of society's most vulnerable citizens. And that's what that reminds me of. Shawnette, thank you.
Jamal, thank you for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm glad. We'll talk. We'll have more conversation.
Tuning in. Oh, we will, I'm sure.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Shawnette Somner, folks, appreciate that. Folks, if you appreciated that conversation, her openness, her willingness to engage, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share it with everyone. It could be helpful. I think that conversation would be very helpful. We're going to take our final break. After this break, we've got the keys to the past, and I'll give you a daily inspiration. If I had the ability to replay what Shawnette just said, but I'm just going to do something similar. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 2:46.
Yeah, I don't got this. I'm gonna be fast at delivery on.
Oh, don't pay me enough for that,
Oh, no, sugar! Okay, who's the faster? Who's the faster than me? Talk to me. No more stress. Just sit back.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Bermuda, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal, especially when you can feed the whole family without stretching your wallet. With the affordable Bermuda basket, you'll find savings on everyday staples like rice, chicken, corn, and more. Everything you need to make a good meal for less. Shop the Bermuda basket at Lindo's, Marketplace, the Garden Market, and the English Market. Visit costofliving.gov.bm to see the full list of goods and start planning your meals. This is a message from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Life moves fast, and so can the unexpected. When you insure your home, you need to know that your insurance company has your back. At Friesenbrook, let one of our friendly and professional agents give you that peace of mind. Because when you are covered, you are confident. Call us at 296-3600 or visit friesenbrook.bm to learn more.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Jamal Hartman here. This is the Daily Hour, brought to you by our good friends at the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you appreciated that conversation with Shawnette Somner, just make sure you share it with your friends, family, colleagues. I really, really appreciate it. And I asked the last week, we had an opening, we had a reschedule, and I saw that she was hosting this event. And I'm like, this is an important conversation. I think she needs to know how important this conversation is, especially as I've been having conversations with people who are afraid to retire, people who've entered retirement and not know where to turn. I'm just grateful that she accepted the opportunity to come and engage you all live. And I hope you found the information she shared extremely helpful. But yes, thanks again to Shawnette Somner. And again, if you appreciated it, give us a thumbs up, love, like, share it with your family, friends, colleagues. Folks, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. Don't forget, Bermuda Trivia, Shoe by the original and Shoe by the summer edition. I'm telling you, it's the most fun yet. I know I say that all the time, but you don't want to miss. There will be a limited amount in stores sometime this month. And if you remember, during the holiday period, it sold out and people were up in their feelings. Don't miss the opportunity to grab your Shoe by the original game and Shoe by the summer edition. Will be in stores. I think it's probably the most fun game ever. The summer edition just takes it up a notch. But make sure you go tune in to follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game, but also keep up to date on what day will actually be in stores. All right. We're going to do the keys to the past today. Yep. In partnership with Curb, because you all didn't get the answer yesterday. So I'll read the clue again, and you can follow our social media and Curb social media, right? I'll read the clue again. They're giving away some great prizes. All right. Here's the clue. Today's clue. From bondage came a life rebuilt, with love, with trade, with measured guilt. A home of strength, of wealth, of pride, where freedom and success reside. Seek the house where history grew, from chains once worn to fortunes new. Did I give that hint loud enough? House. I was trying something. It stood out to you? All right, you'll figure it out. Go get it, folks. Figure out the key. Your opportunity to win something. Do not say the answer in the comments. All right. Let's wrap it up. As far as this morning's discussion, again, Old Shores in Phoenix, they're just doing what they're allowed to do. They're just doing what the law allows them to do. We're having a conversation with the CEO of the Bermuda Health Council next week. This is your opportunity to engage live. If you have concerns or questions about things like this, this is your opportunity. As far as the conversation with Shawnette, I mean it when I say conversations like this are why I love to wake up and do this show. They're helpful. They're engaging. That's what we want to be here for. My hope is that from conversations like this, someone feels lifted up, motivated, inspired to do something differently that's going to make them feel better, live better, and be better. Reach out to her. Find out what worked for her. It may work for you. But keep in mind what she said. It's your own journey. All right, got to give you some daily inspiration. And I'm just going to reiterate the quote that Shawnette shared from Sheryl Sandberg. Quote, leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that the impact lasts in your absence. Yeah. Yeah. May it last beyond your existence. That's what good leaders do. All right, folks, gotta let you go. But it has been a pleasure once again engaging every last one of you. Tomorrow we have another important guest you don't want to miss. But in the meantime, do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, HSBC, Bermuda Medical House, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 107.5 for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.